It's Tuesday, 6th February 2024 from the News Center of Freedom Communications with studio between the intersection of Kerry and Clay Streets in Monrovia. Good evening and a warm welcome to Freedom Evening News Basket. 45-minute production of news, views, interviews, counter-views, comments about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. On today's edition of the program, my name is Hagar Gonda Ankori, and these are the top developments making news on the program. Liberian Senate confirms 11 presidential nominees following reports from its relevant standing committees. The Executive Protective Service declares a former Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment boss Pepsi Yeke wanted for what it terms as illegal possession of EPS weapons. The judicial branch of the Liberian government launches its 5-year strategic plan under the theme rebranding the Liberian judiciary and away from Liberia. A court leader in Kenya has been charged with murder after that's more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country, according to the BBC. The detail of these developments, plus other local and international stories, the voices of those behind the news, are all anticipated on tonight's edition of the program. At this juncture, we cross over to the news center where Gerald Morris is seated to read for us the bulletin of news. Gerald, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Hagar. Good evening, Liberia. The plenary of the Liberian Senate has unanimously confirmed 11 presidential nominees following reports from its relevant standing committees. Those confirmed to their various positions on Tuesday, February 6, 2024 include Bill Jones, Deputy Finance Minister for Administration, and Edward Netted, Controller and Accountant General, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Others are Anthony Myers, Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Affairs, Tepu Zuo, Deputy Finance Minister for Economic Management Planning, and Tenen Bronson, Deputy Finance Minister for Budget and Development Planning. At the same time, the plenary confirmed Colonel Gregory Coleman, Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Abraham Kuman as Director of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, and Sam Gay, Director of the Executive Protection Service. The Senate also confirmed Tato Jaso Jala, Minister of Education. Tato Alexander Nuttall was confirmed to the post of Minister of the Ministry of Agriculture, and Amin Mudad, Minister of Commerce and Industry. The confirmations of the recently nominated individuals followed recommendations contained in the respective standing committees of the Liberian Senate report. Meanwhile, the President of the Liberian Senate and Vice President of Liberia, Jeremiah Kung, has instructed the Secretary General of the body to formally communicate the Senate's decision with the President of the Republic. The Executive Director of the Executive Protection Service has declared the former head of the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment, Pepsi Yeke, wanted for illegal possession of EPS weapon. According to a release signed by the newly confirmed boss of the EPS, Sam Gay, Pepsi Yeke is considered armed and dangerous. He encouraged all law enforcement officers coming in contact with the former late boss to have him arrested and detained and contact the Executive Protection Service. Director Gay described the weapon as a Noriko 22 pistol with marking number 73 and serial number 97344. Liberia Cultural Ambassador Judy Andy has doubled her legal actions against Nakupuman Yeasgon, popularly known as Prophet Key. Ambassador Andy Monday, according to our judicial correspondent, obtained a writ of arrest for Prophet Key at the Monrovia City Court with offenses ranging from criminal coercion, menacing, and disorderly conduct. The court's action was based on a complaint filed by Madam Judy Ended, alleging that in his podcast on social media, he informed the public that she is noted for sleeping with past presidents to get the cultural ambassador position. Ambassador Annie said Prophet Key threatened her and said he will ensure that she will not have the opportunity to work in any government in her life. Madam Enid maintained that the action of the defendant, which has put her in fear and brought her to public ridicule, is criminal, illegal, and unconstitutional. Our judicial correspondent further revealed that earlier, Madam Enid instituted a civil action against Prophet Key on similar grounds at the 6th Judicial Circuit Court of Montserrado County. The Liberian Senate has endorsed its Committee on Public Account and Audit recommendation mandating the General Auditing Commission to ascertain facts for an audit of the bank balances reported by the former and current presidents of the country. During the transitional period in late January 2024, former President George Weah said his administration left over US 40 million in their government's consolidated account. But contrary to his revolution by the ex-president, President Joseph Boakai, in his first State of the Nation address, disclosed that the actual balance in the government's consolidated account was US 20.5 million. To establish the facts in the two separate sections made by the current and former Liberian leaders, the Senate initially mandated its joint committees on public account and audit and banking and currency, with the PSC leading the process to investigate the matter and report to plenary. However, on Tuesday, February 6, 2024, the joint committees, following its investigation, recommended that an audit be conducted by the General Auditing Commission to establish the real balances in the government's account. The report, read in plenary by the Secretary of the Liberian Senate, Nangwada Semwe, stressed that the former and current leaders of Liberia failed to state whether the amounts reported were both of gross or net account balances. According to the report, the audit by the GAC will clear the doubt about the true net inherited by President Joseph Boakai. The plenary, thus the House of Representatives, has voted for its Committee on Post and Telecommunication to further probe the Board of Commissioners of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority. House's decisions is aimed at probing into the LTA's Digital Skills Project, which intends to train up to 10,000 young people in various digital skills in 6 months. The House Tuesday's action followed a PowerPoint presentation by the Commissioner General of the LTA, Edwina Zakwa, on the empowerment of about 10,000 youth from the 15 counties through diverse digital skills training. Commissioner Zakwa disclosed that the training will cover a range of essential skills, and Liberians who will be trained will become digital citizens, noting that digital transformation is a significant step towards building the nation and making the youth of the country's future brighter. Meanwhile, after the presentation of the 88th chairperson of the Board of Commissioners, the House of Representatives agreed that details of the ways and means, including recruitment and venue for training, among others, be discussed in the committee's room and be subsequently conveyed to that August body next Tuesday. The LTA's presentation was triggered by a communication from Maryland County District 1 Representative P. Mark Drury, recounting President Joseph Boakai State of the Nation address plans to expand the economy. According to Representative Mark Drury, the president promised to leverage communication technology in creating jobs, especially for Liberian youth. The Maryland County District 1 communication further that it is important that LTA gives the people's deputies a clear strategy and how inclusive it will be to cover the nation. The House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, and Maritime to investigate the reported crisis between the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority and the Liberia Artisanal Fishermen Association (LAFA). Plenary reached the decision Tuesday following a communication from Moserado County District Sharing Representative Emmanuel Dine. Representative Dan said on Monday, February 5th, 2024, the leadership of LAFA converged at his residence and stated that they were on the verge of staging a protest predicated upon the huge increment in their annual due paid to NAFA for artisanal fishing. According to the Moserado County District Number 7 Representative Communication, members of the Liberian Artisanal Fishermen Association said that their due was increased from 10,000 Liberian dollars for a 40 powerhouse canoe to 475 United States dollars annually, among others. The lawmakers' communication further that LAFA accused the current management team of NAFA of using security personnel to unjustifiably harass and subject them to make these huge payments. The House Committee Chair on Executive further that he was also informed that due to climate change, global warming, marine pollution, and ecosystem that degradation, they have they have recurrently experienced overfishing, which drastically reduced fish catches, something that has become extremely burdensome. The Moserado County lawmaker has also confirmed negotiations between him and LAFA over the cancellation of its protest, thus seeking the intervention of plenary to amicably remedy the situation. Meanwhile, the committees will review the allegations and report within 1 week. Nema County Senator Prince Johnson has expressed disappointment in President Joseph Boakai for nominating more Nimbayans in his government. Senator Johnson, that is the founder of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, one of the political parties that aligned with the United Party to defeat incumbent President George Weah in the 2023 election. According to the Nema County Senator, regardless of whether more Nimbayans are appointed, they have resolved to support the devil they dressed. During an address at his church, the Christ Chapel of Faith Ministry, Johnson recalled the 2023 elections and how Nema County played a crucial role in electing now President Boakai. Though Senator Johnson expressed disappointment over the early appointments and performance of the Boakai administration, he remains committed to supporting the government and hopes for a brighter future under the President Boakai's leadership. He highlighted his county determination to make the 79-year-old Boakai president of Liberia, especially when other counties could not deliver the expected votes. Meanwhile, Moserado County District 10 Representative Yeka Koruba has criticized Senator Prince Johnson of Nema County, describing him as selfish. According to him, when he raised concerns about President Joseph Boakai's governance, he expected Senator Johnson to reach out and take a leadership role in addressing his concern. However, Cordoba expressed disappointment that Johnson did not act as a representative of the people of Nema County, but as an individual protecting his interests. However, the criticism against Johnson comes in the wake of recent public remarks about President Boakai's failure to ensure an equitable distribution of ministerial positions across various counties, expressing disappointment and saying Nema County deserved more ministerial positions due to its support during the 2023 political campaigns. Cordoba noted that if Senator Johnson truly represented the interest of the Liberian people, he would have privately approached President Boakai instead of going public. Babodu County Senator Amara Conan A strong supporter of President Joseph Boakai, appears to be disappointed about the ongoing nomination of officials in government, particularly the cabinet, and is calling for geographical balance. Senator Cornyn, who was instrumental in calculating the securing votes for President Joseph Boakai during the 14 November 2023 presidential runoff election, has written on his official Facebook page that the president is not fulfilling his campaign promise to, to take at least a cabinet minister from each county. That's Senator Amara Cornyn wrote. The president promised a minister from each county. Clearly, this promise will not be fulfilled. President Joseph Boakai has appointed ministers to head 15 ministries, including 2 ministers of state without portfolio. Lofa has 5, Bong has 4, Basa, Bomin, and Nima have 2 each, while Cape Mount and Sino have 1 each. According to the senator, Lofa County has the ministries of commerce and industry, education, youth and sports, internal affairs, and state without portfolio, while Grand Cape Mount County has the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sino, Ministry of State, and Nimba, Ministries of Justice and Defense, respectively. He continued that Grand Bassa has the Ministries of Health and Information, Bomi has the Ministry of Finance and Transport, and Bong has the Ministry of Public Works, Agriculture, Gender, and State without portfolio. Accountability Lab Liberia has congratulated its 2018 National Integrity Icon, Double Jala, on being nominated and confirmed as the 4th Commissioner General for the Liberia Revenue Authority. President Joseph Boakai nominated Jala to lead the Liberia Revenue Authority as institution tasked with managing and upholding revenue laws to assess, collect, audit, and account for all national revenues, as well as enable lawful international trade and customs border management and enforcement. His appointment was made on Wednesday, 24th January, and a week later, he was confirmed by the Liberian Senate. According to the country director of Accountability Lab Liberia, Lawrence Yelu, the appointment of Akonjala indicates his committed hard work, integrity, and accountability demonstrated in previous positions he has served. He furthered that the appointment is laudable and a bright example for all hardworking civil servants who are ambitious to advance their career through their amplified work in the public. A cut thus to this development now, the National Civil Society Council of Liberia is calling on President Joseph Boakai to quickly affirm the tenuous status of the Environmental Protection Agency in constituting the board of directors. NCSCL said the board will provide the direction and advise the president on the way forward. This comes amid continuous acts of lawlessness by some employees at the EPA. There have been calls for resignation of the executive director, Professor Wilson Tape, by workers of the institution, stressing that the EPA board should comply with Executive Order Number 123. Speaking to reporters Tuesday in Monrovia, NCSCL chairperson Madam Loretta Popkai said the reconstitution of the board of directors as well as the policy council will restore stability to the state-owned enterprises. She noted that the current level of tension has the propensity to harm the agency and expose the country to diminished institutional views. Madam Popka stressed that her quest is key, especially at the time Liberia is hosting the first environmental constituency workshop and the national dialogue of the Global Environment Fund next week. She also expressed optimism that President Boakai will give this matter his urgent attention in the interest of the country. Well, Higa, that's the shift of the news bulletin.
Cheryl Morris with the news bulletin. It is a regular feature on Freedom Evening News Basket. If you're just joining us, a reminder that you're listening to 45-minute production of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. And today is Tuesday, February 6, 2024. My name is Hagar Gonda, anchoring tonight's edition of the program. These are the main developments we are considering on tonight's edition. Liberian Senate confirms 11 presidential nominees following reports from its relevant standing committees. The Executive Protection Service declares a former Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment boss Pepsi Yeke wanted for what it terms as illegal possession of fire weapon, that's EPS weapons. The judicial branch of the Liberian government launches its 5-year strategic plan under the theme rebranding the Liberian judiciary. In away from whom a court leader in Kenya has been charged with murder after more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country, according to the BBC. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of those behind the news on tonight's edition of the program. Thanks for rejoining us. The Liberian Senate has endorsed its Committee on Public Account and Audit recommendation mandating the General Auditing Commission to ascertain files through an audit of the bank balances reported by the former and current presidents of the country. During the transitional period in late February, that's January 2024, former President George Weah said his administration left over US 40 million in the government's consolidated account. But contrary to this revelation by the ex-president, President Joseph Boakai, in his first State of the Nation address, disclosed that the actual balance in the government's consolidated account was US 20.5 million. The report was read in plenary by the Secretary of the Liberian Senate, Nanglo Sigme, who stressed that the former and current leaders of Liberia failed to state whether the amounts reported were both of gross or net account balances.
Currently, regarding the current fiscal and monetary position, in the interest of accountability and transparency, it would be better to call for a special reconciliation audit of the consolidated accounts to establish the facts and giving them to the Liberian people. The purpose of this special audit, that is the reconciliation, is to establish true balances, gross and net, of the consolidated accounts to clear any doubts about the true net position of the consolidated accounts that President Boakai inherited as of January 21, 2024. Signed, Amara Conan, Chairman, PSC. Signed, Councillor Joseph Jala, Chair, BCC. Begging currency. That's what I put here. Signed, every M. Stowe Jr. member. Signed, Senator Nathaniel F. McGill, member. Signed, Senator Momo T. Saros, member. Signed, Senator Besangard Rayton Finlay, member.
Meanwhile, following the reading of the communication, A motion was raised by Sano County Senator Milton Dasa Augustine Chie.
We want to say thank you for coming and acknowledge receipt of your petition.
What's that?
And let me say that in coming the way you did, you have exercised.
Sorry for that wrong essay. Scores of women under the banner Army Wives Association of Liberia on Tuesday continued their protest action, calling on the Liberian Senate not to confirm Major General Prince Charles Johnson III as defense minister. Here is the head of the group, Madam Chidoron Walker, speaking at the grounds of the Capitol building in Monrovia.
Our elders and members of this honorable house, we have not come to politicize or exaggerate or manufacture lies against General Johnson to bring him down. The facts remain clear. The facts remain clear as he is living witness when they were pronounced in 2017 by the former president, His Excellency George Manneh Weah, as Chief of Staff and National Defense. There was jubilation across the various barracks because we thought they were our own. They trained and they passed through all difficulties together with our husbands and could remember those factors and uplive their life. Our husband, unfortunately, we were digging our own grave. Unfortunately, we were digging our own grave hereby enriching themselves and sending his son to Barcelona FC Sports Academy in Spain, while our husbands and our family language in untold suffering. We, the members and family of the Army Wife Association of Liberia, registered the below count against General Johnson and with a plea to this honorable house to do the honorable thing for us, our husbands and children, to save the dirty power during corrupt and blood-sucking vampire imprison of General Johnson on the post of defense. Corruption, the constant refusal to obey direct order from President Weah on our husband promotion and increasement in salary. Yes. General Johnson turned down orders several times to increase our husband's salary and promotion to the next rank. He used his influence over the former minister, resulting to deny the well-being of the men and women in arms. There is no way Prince Johnson the threat can be accepted by the soldier as they see him as a nerve man. I think that he would definitely witch hunt and create insecurity in the army. Therefore, please do the honorable thing and reject General for the sake of national security of our beloved country.
She's the head of the Army Wives Association. Meanwhile, responding to their petition, Sino County Senator Augustine Chie had these words to say.
We want to say thank you for coming and acknowledge receipt for coming of your petition and acknowledge receipt. And let me say that petition. And let me say that you did. In coming, the way you have exercised you have constitutional right to freely assemble, constitutional right to freely assemble and present your grievances to your government. To the government, and you are doing that through us, the first branch of the government. We want to assure you that having received your petition, the Senate will look into it, will establish the merits, and will take the appropriate action or actions when necessary. So again, let me say thank you for coming, and you will hear from us, if not directly, indirectly, through whatever medium or media that would be. But we'll show you that the Senate will look into or investigate the concerns that you presented to us through your petition.
his son County Senator Councillor Augustine Chie there speaking. Well, if you're just joining us, the time is coming up to 1932 Greenwich Mean Time. A reminder that you're listening to Freedom Evening News Basket, a production of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. In one of the top developments we're following, the Executive Protection Service declares former Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment boss Pepsi Yeke wanted for what it terms as illegal possession of EPS weapons. Let's continue with more developments following this short break. Thanks for rejoining us. The judicial branch of government has launched its 5-year strategic plan under the theme of rebranding the Liberian judiciary. The 5-year strategic plan is aimed at reforming the country's judicial system with a focus on human capacity building and the construction of judicial complexes across the country. The 5-year strategic plan of the judicial branch of government was on Tuesday launched at the Temple of Justice under the leadership of Chief Justice Siaide Yor as Chief Priest of the High Court, and it will begin from January 2024 to 2028.
As judicial reforms and rebranding remain a critical part of the judicial branch of government, on Tuesday, February 26, 2024, the judiciary, under the leadership of Honor Chief Justice Shannon G.O., launched a 5-year strategic plan under the theme rebranding the judiciary. The 5-year plan of 2024-2028 is aimed at reforming the country judicial system with a focus on human capacity building and the construction of judicial complexes around the country. Giving a rollout of the judicial branch of government 5-year strategic plans 2024-2028, Chief Justice Shannon Yo decried the deplorable state of court complexes, especially magistrate court around the country, as terrible. As Honor Justice Yo said, the judiciary over the years has been flooded with multiple challenges ranging from inadequate budgetary allocation to poor infrastructures and human capacity, adding that those challenges have affected the overall performance of the judiciary.
A strategic plan, as the name suggests, is a document that defines the vision of an organization or its leaders for the future and identifies the targeted goals and objectives to be achieved. It is a roadmap that guides the development agenda of an institution or an organization. It is public knowledge that the judiciary over the years has been plagued with multiple challenges ranging from inadequate budgetary allocation to poor infrastructure and human capacity. These challenges have affected the overall performance of the judiciary as a system.
Just as you told the gallery that the launch of the 5-year strategic plan is to inform the government of Liberia, national stakeholders, and development partners about the judiciary strategic direction for the next 5 years. She noted the 5-year strategic plan is outlined in 5 major pillars, which include developments of the judicial infrastructure for improved access to justice activities, including the constructions of new Supreme Court building, constructions of 7 circuit courts, judicial complex around the country, constructions of 20 additional magistrate court, refurbishment and operationalize of sessions offences court in 3 counties, among others.
Upon assuming the account of leadership of the judiciary in 2022, my vision for a new judiciary under my leadership was packed into what I refer to as post-rebranding the image of the judiciary, unquote. Stakeholders and development partners of the judiciary's strategic direction for the next 5 years. There are 5 strategic objectives that are laid out under this plan. 1, development of the judiciary's infrastructure for improved access to justice. Example, construction of a new Supreme Court building, construction of 7 circuit or judicial complexes around the country, construction of frontage magisterial courts around the country, refurbishment and operationalization of 3 sexual offenses courts in 3 counties, and the digitization of the Supreme Court and all circuit court complexes.
She's the Chief Justice of Liberia, saying you're the ending that report with our courtroom correspondent Benjamin Quay Johnson. The House of Representatives has mandated its committees on agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and maritime to investigate the reported crisis between the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority and the Liberia Artisanal Fishermen Association, or LAFA. Plenary reached the decision Tuesday following a communication from Montserrat County District 7 Representative Emmanuel Dan. Representative Dan said on Monday, February 5, 2024, the leadership of LAFA converged at his residence and stated that they were on the verge of staging a protest predicated upon the huge increment in their annual due pay to NAFA for artisanal fishing.
On yesterday, I received at my residence officials of LAFA, the Fishermen Association of Liberia. They came complaining NAFA and threatening to irritate a protest yesterday. They threatened that they would block roads and prevent movement in Central Monrovia because they felt that NAFA, according to them, is suppressing them. Those are words that they use, suppressing the survivor, because now they are not fishing due to climate change, and they name some, difficulties they experience. But yet and still, the issue there is they usually pay for licenses annually, and initially they paid 10,000 Liberian dollars for a 40 horsepower canoe, and NAFA has increased that from 10,000 Liberian dollars to 475 United States dollars. What they were paying for 15 powers canoe, 5,000 Liberian dollars has been increased to 250 United States dollars. And peddling canoe that were paying 2,500 Liberian dollars, now they are paying 50 United States dollars. And the increment is too high for them. Their children are being put out of school. They cannot survive, according to them. They pack the canoe. And in fact, they accuse NAFA of sending the military on them, arresting the canoe sometimes on sea, taking the machines away, and they can't retrieve them, and they just remain as it is, So they came asking for intervention, and in fact, yesterday, some of them were arrested and taken to the Liberia National Police headquarters on Capitol Bypass. We were caught, and we went there and intervened in time for the release, and so we thought it was important to just put a communication on the floor. Even though I spoke with the NAFA boss, Madam Emma.
Well, stay ahead of the news is our regional development, but this story will set the pace for our foreign news. Still at the House of Representatives, the House of Representatives has voted for its Committee on Post and Telecommunication to further probe the Board of Commissioners of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority. The House's decision is aimed at probing into the LTA's Digital Skills Project, which intends to train up to 10,000 young people in various digital skills in 6 months. The House Tuesday's decision followed a PowerPoint presentation by Commissioner General of the LTA, Edwina Zakba, on the empowerment of about 10,000 young people from the 15 counties through diverse digital skills training.
The Liberia Digital Skills Project. Imagine a Liberia where every young person is digitally literate and empowered with the skills to navigate the digital world. That's the vision of the Liberia Digital Skills Project, to provide digital skills training for 10,000 young Liberians to stimulate the use of ICT, contribute to the nation's digital transformation. The project is set to create digital awareness on ICTs and prepare our next generation to become digital citizens ready to contribute to our economy. We're not just teaching them to use technology, we're empowering them for job creation and economic prosperity. This project is as inclusive as it is ambitious. 10,000 students from all 15 counties of Liberia will benefit from this initiative with a balanced representation of male and female. The training covers a range of essential skills: basic computer skills, mobile skills training, and skills for use of e-commerce and e-learning tools and resources. It's all about providing the knowledge and tools necessary for our youth to thrive in the digital age. This initiative marks a significant step towards the nation's digital transformation. Over a 3-month period, the digital skills training will be conducted across all 15 counties of Liberia.
Edwin Azapa is the head of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority there speaking, taking us back to Gerald Morris, this time for our foreign developments.
In Kenya has been charged with murder after more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country. Survivors and victims' families have said Paul Mackenzie urged followers to fast in order to go see Jesus. He and 29 others pleaded not guilty in a court in the coastal town of Malindi. Mackenzie has already been charged with committing acts of terror, child cruelty, and torture, which he denied. Police and prosecutors allege that apart from starvation, some victims may have been strangled, suffocated, or beaten to death using blunt objects.
Well, folks, on that note, that's how we draw down the curtains on tonight's edition of Freedom Evening News Basket. It has been a presentation from the News and Current Affairs Department of 45-minute news right here on Freedom 87.9. But before we take leave of you, let's remind you of stories that made headlines on our program. Liberian Senate confirms 11 presidential nominees following reports from its relevant standing committees. The Executive Protective Service declares former Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment boss Pepsi Yeke wanted for what it terms as illegal possession of EPS weapons. The judicial branch of the Liberian government launches its 5-year strategic plan under the theme Rebranding the Liberian Judiciary. In away from Liberia, a court leader in Kenya has been charged with murder after more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country, according to the BBC. Thanks to you for your listening road. Thanks to our writers, reporters, editors, and contributors, and all those who helped in making tonight's edition of the program a success. Gerald Morris was here with the news bulletin, inclusive of our regional stories. Marvis Daber, Sarah Control, ably coordinated the sound aspect on tonight's edition of the program. This program has been proudly sponsored by Crime Stoppers Liberia and was relayed on Hard Work Radio in Proper District, Grand Cape Mark County. For and on behalf of the entire news team, my name is Hagar Gonda. I presented. Do join the station beginning tomorrow at 6 o'clock a.m. for Freedom News Insight.